Alright, we're working on a 2010 Chevy full-size van. I believe it's 2010. And it's got a check engine light that flashes once in a while. And, you know, idle's kind of rough. It doesn't feel like it, when you're on the fuel, it doesn't feel like it runs that rough. It's definitely an idle. So we're going to go into trouble codes here on the auto. Read the codes and see what we got. Hopefully it tells us which cylinder. I believe it's just one cylinder, it feels like. Alright, so we got a P0300, which is kind of like a generic misfire. So hopefully, go into live data here and we'll go to engine. Let's go to misfire data. Alright, so it looks like cylinder 4 here is misfiring right now, and actually the check engine light's steady right now, but so it looks like cylinder number 4 is the culprit. I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. See if it racks up all the way to 255. I think once it gets to 255 it resets. None of the other cylinders are showing misfire, so I went ahead and shut it off. None of the other cylinders are showing misfire, and so we'll concentrate on number 4. Now on a GM or a Chevy V8, if you're looking at the engine from the front and you're looking back towards the back of the car, the odd cylinders are on the right side or the driver's side, and the even cylinders are on the passenger side. And it starts 1, 3, 5, 7, and 2, 4, 6, 8. So number 4 will be the second cylinder back on the passenger side from the front. And considering this is one of those full-size work vans, I guess we got to pull this doghouse off. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that doghouse off, and we'll. Instead of getting too technical with this, my gut is, and experience tells me it's probably a coil. So what I'll do is I'll just switch the coil out, put the 4 number 6, 6 number 4, and then we'll start it back up and come back into the misfire data here and see if number 6 misfires instead of number 4. If it does, then we know we got a bad coil. If it doesn't, then we're looking at maybe a possible fuel injector or something like that. So I think the easiest route right now is to keep it simple, not go too crazy with, because I think the coil is working, it's just not working in the full capacity. It's not like a dead miss like you would have if the coil was completely dead. So I think what I'm just going to do, like I said, is switch the coils around. Only takes a few minutes, and then we'll see if it moves over it should move from 4 to number 6. And if it does, then we know that we got a coil. We'll just replace it real quick. So that's the route I'm going to take on this one as of now. I mean, that may change if I get in there and I see something else or whatever. But as of now, that's the plan. We'll keep it simple. And unfortunately, it's a van, so it's going to take me longer to get this doghouse off than it probably will to switch the coils. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this doghouse off. I'm not going to show that. And then we'll get into the engine. Alright, so here's the coils. The first cylinder up here is number 2, number 4, number 6, and number 8. Now number 4 is the one that the computer's telling us is misfiring. So all I'm going to do, I already unhooked the spark plug wires, and I took off the electrical connector up here on top. All I'm going to do is take out these 2 10mm bolts on each coil, switch them around, and plug them back in, and then we'll go back to the computer and see if our misfire moved. If our misfire moves, and that tells us that this coil is bad and we need to replace it. And if it doesn't move, then we're still got a misfire number 4. Then we need to look at injector or possible spark plug problem, something like that. But right now, I feel pretty strongly it's probably going to be, this hose is really, This vacuum hose is in really bad shape right here. I have to replace that too. So anyway, I feel pretty strongly it's a coil, just from experience. Never know though, I've been wrong before. So we'll just see. This is a quick, easy way to find out without taking out spark plugs or getting into the injectors and all that. It's just something I always do first. If I have a misfire, I'm pretty confident it's a coil. So I'm going to go ahead and switch them real quick, and then we'll fire the computer back up. Alright, well, our little experience kind of failed here. We're still getting misfires on number 4. Dang. So that didn't help us at all. All it's telling us there is our coil's probably good, or it is good, because we're not getting any misfires on number 6. So we're going to move on to the next step and take it a little bit deeper. At this point, I can get a scope out and possibly scope the fuel injector, or I can go a different route. I'm going to kind of take a look at the engine and decide what my next move is going to be, and then I'll get back up on it and let you guys know what my next move is. Alright, so things took it worse here on our diagnosis. I decided to pull the plug out real quick, just take a look at it, and when I did, I found this. I don't know if it's going to focus here. The plug is just completely destroyed, and some of the threads are destroyed. What's weird about it is the threads are only destroyed on one side. The other side they look fine. I'm not sure what happened here. I think these are the original plugs in this van, but it doesn't look good. So I can't even do a compression check or anything right now because the plug hole in the head is blown out. So I went ahead and get a new spark plug for it, and I'm going to use this kit here to save a thread. It's 5334-14, 5334-14, and it's an M14 by 1.5 or 1 1/4, and it's basically a helicoil set to repair the spark plug holes in small block Chevy or whatever. So anyway, the first step to it is, which I'm probably not going to be able to show you how I use this kit just because I'm outside. I can't get this van in the shop. It's a glass van, and it's like, a big construction work van. It has ladders on the top and glass racks on the side and stuff. So I got to work outside today, and it's pretty cold, so I'm just going to try to bust through this. Here's the tab that you use. It's kind of tapered right here. It goes in the hole, and we'll screw this down into the hole. It has a 3/8 head on it. You can either put like a ratchet in this or get a socket to fit over it, and we're going to run this all the way down. Now you will get metal shavings down in the cylinder when you do that, and in this situation what I'm going to do is run this down in there, pull it back out, and then I'm going to go ahead and crank the engine over, and that should blow all the crap. Whatever fell in the cylinder, it should blow it right out of the hole. I'll also take an air hose and blow in there real quick before I do that, and then I'll go ahead and start the engine for a couple seconds, let it run, blow all the stuff out, and then once we get that done, it comes with a couple different size helicoil inserts. I believe this is the one I'm going to use. This is about the same depth as the spark plug here. So you want to find a helicoil that is insert that is about the same depth as whatever you're installing, and this one here is pretty close to the same depth as the spark plug. So I'll go ahead and install this one, and what you do on that is you put a new spark plug in here, turn it into, you put some thread locker obviously on the threads here, screw it into the hole until it bottoms out, then you'll pull the spark plug back out, and then the final step is you use this and you put it in the hole where the new helicoil is at, and you just beat on this, and this kind of sets it in there and spreads it into the aluminum and sets it in there, and it kind of gives it a bite. This should never come out regardless. Bad thing about my hole is the second hole there. It's dipstick tubes in the way and all that, so hopefully I can get in there and get this done without removing a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and do that procedure, and then we'll put a plug in it, start it up, and see what we got going on here. Hopefully there's not a bad valve or piston or something like that. I did put my inspection camera down there, and I didn't see any damage, but it doesn't mean anything. My inspection camera is kind of crappy, and it's kind of hard. With this being a van and that edge right there, it was kind of hard to manipulate the inspection camera to where I wanted to see it, but it looked to me like everything was okay in there on the piston. So hopefully you don't have a valve problem or something weird like that. I just don't know what caused this damage. These threads being messed up was not caused by taking the plug out. You can see the electrode and everything's already gone on this, and the strap and all that, so I don't know. That's normally a really bad sign. But I didn't see any damage in there. It doesn't mean anything. I might have missed it. My camera's not that great, and it was kind of, like I said, it's kind of hard to manipulate it with that edge of the doghouse or the frame right there. So anyway, we got to repair that hole, and then we'll just hope for the best, see what happens. This is his work van, so we hope that engine's okay. It's just a screwed up fluke thing with the plug. We'll fix the hole, and he'll be back on the road hopefully. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start on the tap and all that, and then we'll pick back up after I put the plug in and see how she... Alright, so you can see there I got my ratchet in there with a couple small extensions, and I got that tap all the way down, bottomed out into the head as far as it'll go. So now I'm just going to run it back out, and then we will put the Healy coil in next and install that. So that's just kind of want to show you what's going on. It's pretty self-explanatory, but anyway, that's how I got it set up. I just put two small stitches on the end of that tap, and I went ahead and screwed it in until it bottomed out. So anyway. Alright, so ran the tap in and out, and then I'm going to put this new Healy coil on the spark plug and thread it down. You want the knurled end here up towards the base of the spark plug. You don't want to, it won't go in anyway, but you wouldn't want to put it at this end. So now I'm going to use, before I thread this in, I'm going to put some red heavy duty Loctite on here, thread locker. And the heavy duty stuff, it takes about 10 minutes to set, and then it really takes about 24 hours to cure. But I like to use the red stuff, the heavy duty stuff, on the cylinder heads and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a light coat of that on there, and then we'll screw this into the hole that we just tapped, and then once it gets locked in there, we'll unscrew this spark plug, and then the last step will be to put that rod in the Healy coil and tap on it, which I'm not sure how I'm going to accomplish that yet with this with this right here. I don't know. That's going to be kind of rough. I don't know if I'll be able to do that stuff on this van or have to get creative, but with the Loctite being screwed in there, it's not going to go nowhere. But I would like to do that stuff if I can. It's just I don't know if I might be able to take the wheel off and get something up in there. I don't know, but we'll address that in a minute. So first thing we're going to do is just coat this and put it in, and then take the spark plug back out, and then the Healy coil should stay in the hole, and then hopefully we can get that rod in there and hit it a couple times to set it in there perfectly. So anyway, alright, I just threaded that spark plug in and unscrewed it off, and you can see the plug came out without the Healy coil. I got it pretty tight. Yeah, I looked down that hole. I won't be able to show you in the camera, but it looks pretty flush with where it's supposed to be. Now the last step to the Healy coil is you put this in there, and you kind of beat on this, and that sets it in there permanently. Like I said, I'm going to have to probably pull the wheel off and get pretty creative with this on because there's no way I can beat on this. You can obviously with a van. Now if you've got a car or truck, it's probably a lot easier. You'll be able to whack it, but with this being right here, it's going to be almost impossible for me to do it up here. So I'm going to pull the wheel off and put this in there, and hopefully I can get something on there to at least whack it a couple times, and then that should be good. That should fix your hole, and then we'll put the spark plug back in, and hopefully There's no internal engine damage on this. I'm just really worried about it because of the way that spark plug looked. And of course the damage that we had with the hole, it's not good. So I don't know, but I couldn't even do a compression check or anything until I got that hole fixed. So now the hole's fixed, except for this part, and I'll go ahead and do that real quick, and then we'll pick it back up and see if this thing will run on all 8 cylinders again. Alright, so here's the end result. Got the spark plug back in. You can see it's shaking. It's still misfiring. Alright, so unfortunately there's obviously some kind of internal engine problem with this. I kind of suspected that. Hold on a second, let me turn that buzzer off. I kind of suspected that with the way that spark plug looked and the way the hole was mangled up. That's not going to happen just because the spark plug's wore out. But I wanted to go ahead and put that heater coil in just to double check it. And, you know, but I don't think, minimum, the head would have to come off on this. And the way that plug is mangled up, I don't know. The engine doesn't sound that well, especially with the doghouse off. So, I don't know what direction we're going to take with this fan. But anyway, that's the end result. So hopefully you got something out of this video. As far as checking the misfires, you know, the first thing I did was switch the coils around. And of course it didn't work. And then that's when I found the bad plug and got into that. So I don't know how much this video, if nothing else, it'll show you, kind of give you an idea what you have to do to repair your spark plug hole if you have like a cross-threaded hole or something else, some other kind of problem. This is obviously much more than that. Anyway, there's not much more I can do with this today. I guess I'm going to go ahead and button it back up and give him the bad news. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next one. God bless and have a good day. Thanks.